I'm going to start a series going through Joseph Pilates' book entitled Your Health, a corrective system of exercising that revolutionizes the entire field of physical education, by Joseph H. Pilates, first published in 1934. Starting with Chapter 1, A Grave Situation. I'm going to go through some points Joseph Pilates makes in his chapter and give my thoughts and commentary. Joseph Pilates starts by introducing how the media gives us lots of ways to regain health by changing something about our lives, but that sometimes this information is conflicting and confusing. And I think still today, the media is giving a lot of conflicting and confusing information about health. And this information changes over time. So it's still true that media, government, and health authorities are giving us a lot of information. And this is now 100 years since Joseph Pilates was developing his work. Since Joseph Pilates claims he studied the natural laws of life rather than disease prevention, he brings up some points about how misinformation is financially costly, but also costly when it comes to lifespan and quality of life. And I think that's a really big point, that financially, lifespan, and quality of life are all reduced by misinformation. And I think it's sometimes hard to explain to someone who wants to do Pilates for some adipose, some fat tissue, or that wants to do Pilates for something specific or an ailment that they have. But really, Pilates was designed to transform the body from the inside out. It's a system of corrective exercises to bring about a balanced body. Now, that may address some areas of adipose tissue or a specific ailment in the long term, but that's not what Pilates was actually designed to do. Pilates was designed to be a total body transformation. Joseph Pilates poses this question: who is responsible for this sad, abominable condition? And that is a good question. Who is responsible? Joseph Pilates blames health authorities, scientists, and those in charge of our health systems for not correcting the evil. And although I agree with Joseph Pilates that those who have authority are ultimately in charge or responsible, I think it's important that we not give power to those authorities that they don't need to have. So for example, I have the power to choose to do Pilates or not to do Pilates. You, as far as I know, have the power to choose to or not to do Pilates, as do most people who are probably watching this video. So we really need to make sure we aren't giving away our power unnecessarily to those that we don't need to. Another good question that he asks is, how much longer shall this grave situation continue? And I'm going to say it is still continuing. So yes, how much longer? Joseph Pilates' evidence in himself and his own students is why he says he's writing this book, so that we can have the opportunity and the knowledge to begin this transformation in our own bodies. Not through medicine, but through simple health rules and Joseph Pilates' proper corrective exercises. Joseph Pilates believes that in the end, truth will win, and he believes his work is part of that truth. And I agree with Joseph Pilates, and in the end, truth will win. He pretty much says, give my work a try and see what it does in your own body. He goes through a list of 20 topics, which he numbers. I'm kind of going to just group them all together here. That there is not another system like his, that medicine has its failures, that those practicing medicine, athletes, teachers, authorities are not having health themselves, that many health conditions are preventable, that the money spent in health is not actually bringing health, that furniture and lifestyle is not built in a way that supports health, and that replacing wrong habits with right, natural, and normal habits is going to lead to better and normal health. In his 20th point, Joseph Pilates comments that for over 25 years, he's worked to develop what he calls contrology. And contrology is what we know as Pilates today. And essentially, I think he's right. Medicine still fails. Many people in society are not experiencing optimal health. Money spent on health is not necessarily bringing health. Furniture, homes, and lifestyle are not built often in a way to support health. And good health is often supported by good habits. These all still seem true to me today. He ends the chapter very briefly saying that if you have moral courage to try Pilates and see if his claims are true. And I'm glad that I had the moral courage to try Pilates years ago and feel some of the difference and benefits in my own body. As I read this chapter, I evaluated some of what bad habits I may have picked up that I could replace with right, normal, and natural habits once again. Can small changes in habits have a big impact on one's bodies and life? Joseph Pilates thinks so. Like and subscribe to follow along for Chapter 2. May you live well.